Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. This is our Wednesday kind of quick clip sales training that we do here every Wednesday for you. Will be uploaded to YouTube so that you can continue to view this at different times if you want to. And of course, will be sent out through all our company communication blasts, text and email that'll go out later today. But I wanted to talk to you for just a few moments, and this is actually a little different. We're going to be sending out an actual like a memorandum with key points and basically just in a little more depth. This is going to be a shorter video, but it's going to be shorter because I want you to read through this short little memorandum that we're sending out that kind of bullet points and hits the high marks and also goes into a little further explanation on the importance of what we're talking about today, which is placement and persistency and the overall quality of your business. You know, we've always been known as an organization that writes a lot of premium. All right, we've had a lot of success over the years, won a lot of awards for what we've done, and we've kind of been known for being able to produce at a level well beyond the amount of actual producers that we have, and so it's kind of something we've been known for over the years. One reason, though, and one of the key components I believe to that success is we've always put a firm emphasis on quality of business. Okay, a lot of people just worry about quantity. All right, quantity is great. We want quantity, but we don't want quantity over quality. Otherwise, you're just spinning your wheels. What good does it do to be an incredibly successful producer or to have an incredibly successful agency on the front end, meaning you bring the business in, but it doesn't stay on the books? Okay, the back end is weak. Listen, you'll never have a strong back end in the final expense life insurance industry or in any sales industry, okay, if you don't retain your client base, if you're not keeping them there, if they're not on the books, like I like to say, alive, kicking, and paying, okay, you need to make sure that you have an emphasis on the quality of business that you're placing with us and with Senior Life, okay? Otherwise, you're just spinning your wheels. Who wants to work for free? I sure don't, okay? You don't want to spend a week and have a phenomenal week of production and 50% of it fall off the books the very next week or the very next month even, okay? You don't want to deal with that. And even though we have chargeback protection, okay, where you take a slider less advanced than 9 months with us, but you don't ever have to worry about that chargeback coming out of your front end. In other words, you're never feeling that chargeback, which is phenomenal. But it still does come out of the back end commissions. And what you want is a strong back end. You want massive passive income. You want a strong residual income so that 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years down the road, you have a tremendous amount of income coming in that you're not necessarily having to go out and again, like I like to say, kill and eat. You're not out there, hitting the pavement or banging the phones that week for that upfront advance on your commission. You've got a strong passive income that's flowing, and that's the great thing about this business is much like you hear people talk about real estate, you can build a massive passive income, especially if you get into owning your own agency and training sales agents and building your own team. And that's what we all want, okay? You don't want to be having to necessarily just kill yourself running 1,000 miles an hour at the age 60 still, okay? You want to have built something that's working for you. You want money to work for you instead of you always having to work for money, okay? This is a business where that can be attained, where you can accomplish that, and we want to help you do that. So just a few kind of key points here, okay? If you're not managing your business correctly, again, the main factor to know is that business is going to fall off the books. However, okay, we see all kind of clients. You got some high-touch clients. You got some folks that you sign up for insurance and do an application on, and they stay on for a decade, and you never hear a peep out of them. Okay, the human element is conquers all. You're not going to remove that. So everybody responds differently. Everybody has different levels of interaction. Okay, but one thing's for certain: if you're not accessible to your client, if you don't answer your phone, and we're going to talk about a few of these things in a little more detail. Again, this will be a shorter video, but you're going to increase the probability for that person to possibly cancel that policy when there's no need for it, okay? Let's start with the first thing that I want to highlight. Never soft close, okay? You'll see this bullet pointed in the attached documents. Never soft close, okay? What's a soft close, okay? That's where you go in, you make your sales presentation, and you don't get a firm confirmation from them that, yes, I want to purchase. You don't ask for the sale. Listen, a lot of people, you wonder why you're not closing. You're not closing because you don't ask for the sale. Once you've made that presentation and you've established value, and you've established value first, you never give somebody a quote. You never quote premium without first establishing value. You've established value, then you let them know what that investment's going to be for that protection, that level of protection that we're giving them at Senior Life. Then you have to ask for the sale, okay? And that's not always necessarily sitting there saying, well, Ms. Jones, you want to buy this product? No, there's finesse. There's a way that you do that, and this isn't necessarily a sales, specific sales training session today, okay? But then once you've quoted that premium and you slide that iPad in front of Ms. Jones, or either you're on the phone quoting those three options, you say, now which one of these works best for your budget, Ms. Jones? And then you shut up, and the next person that talks loses, okay? And once you've done that, and they've purchased that, and you've got a sale, and you say, now, Ms. Jones, you understand what we're doing, what we're putting in place, this is what your monthly premium's going to be, this is when your first premium's coming out, this is when the ongoing premium's going to be, this is what that product's going to do for you if you were to pass away. And when you get to the end, you do a memorandum, you run back through the highlights of what this product's going to do and the value that it's going to create, and you've got them yes and amening and agreeing to everything you're saying. Ron Powell goes as far as to say before he would always leave the house, he would hold that check up in front of him, one of the last things before he went out the door, okay? Now, this is just him, but again, the Michael Jordan, the final expense, so some of you may want to listen to this, okay? But he would say, now, Miss Jones, if you're not going to keep this policy, I'm just going to tear this check up right now. There's no sense in me even walking out here and having the first premium to go through. So you're going to keep it, right? Yeah, I'm going to keep it, okay? And really, that's kind of in a reverse psychology way. That puts them under pressure, a little bit of pressure, which is good. A little bit of pressure is not bad, okay? Without a little bit of pressure, oysters wouldn't create a pearl. We wouldn't have any value come from those things, okay, other than they taste delicious if you're an oyster eater, okay? But some pressure is good, all right? Pressure is what takes coal and turns it into a diamond. You just have to know how to have the finesse and how to apply the right amount of pressure. But when you're walking out, that really seals the deal, and they give their word to you. And if they have any level of integrity at all, they're going to keep that, okay? But he would go that far. He'd say, I'll tear the check up right now before I walk out, and you're not going to keep this policy, okay? Business quality is important, all right? Your placement, you want it to stay on when you go and put it on, okay? You don't want a CBI. You'll get an email that says CBI if you start selling with us occasionally. And it's going to happen. Somebody cancels before it even issues, okay? Before the policy ever issues, they call in and cancel it. Maybe buyer's remorse, okay? Something happens there, and they get in their head, or maybe a third party gets involved. All right, so you don't want that to happen. That's a placement issue. Persistency, you want how long you want it to stay on the books. You want it to make it past 3, 6, 9 months, 13 months. You don't want that business falling off the books because you earn renewals, okay? You get your advance, then you get your pay-through commissions, which is wonderful, okay? Then you get your renewals, okay? So many people quit the insurance business before they get to taste the good of the land, okay? Meaning they get out and give up before all this extra income that they're out producing begins to flow through and begins to deposit in their bank account. Hang with it, people, okay? That's a side note. I promise you after a year, you'll be thanking God that you did, all right? So don't give up during the beginning tough times. Nothing's easy, okay? But never soft close. So never go in and just say, well, there's a 30-day free look. You can cancel it and you wouldn't be out nothing, and we'll send you your first premium back if you don't want it. I've seen so many producers get desperate over the years, and they utilize that tactic. They utilize the 30-day free look, and just so they can make a sale and have a big number to turn in at the end of the week and feel like they've done something while they're eating their steak dinner on Friday night, but then Monday morning it all starts falling off, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to pay for Friday night steak dinner, okay? You don't want to live like that. You don't want to wash your money. Crazy producers in the past I've heard say, well, we get paid on it today. We'll get paid on it when we get paid on it at least, okay? That's a poor man broke poverty mentality. You don't want that. You don't want to be washing your money. You want to care about the quality and the renewals and it staying on. Okay? Trust me, I've been in the business long enough to know something about that, as have many of our partners. Okay? So you don't want to wash your money. You don't want to soft close. You don't want to use a soft close just so you can hurry up, sneak out the house, and say you made a sale today. Okay? So that's enough on that. You want to know your senior life plan types, the products, the plan types. Okay? That can all be found by going to your Slice app. Okay? Go to your Slice app. Go down to Documents. There's a wealth of knowledge there. You should know senior life backwards and forwards. Okay? Know what your plan types are, so that way, even though the Slice app guides you through the sales process, which is wonderful, you still need to know the plan types. You need to know, in the rare event that you come across somebody that's just hell-bent on a 20-year pay term or a return of premium. Okay, you need to know about these things. All right. You also need to know how that differs and how it pays you. All right. Your commission schedule. Some of those products. They order medical records from the get-go before they issue it. All right. If you can explain the value in what our bread and butter is, which is final expense life insurance, a lot of times you can help direct the client in the right direction. But directing the client and making sure they understand the product, that they're in the right product, keeps them from getting a policy in the mail, reading something that's not quite the way you explained it, because maybe you just broad brush stroked it too much, okay? And then they don't understand it, get disillusioned, call in to cancel. All right, you don't want to deal with that. So know your plan types, know your product. Your product is Senior Life. Don't have much to learn. We're not in the broker world where you got 12 and 15 and 20 different companies with 100 different products and plan types, okay? So take advantage of this simplicity. Simplicity is a beast. Submit your new business immediately, okay? Back in the paper app days, this was a lot bigger issue than it is now, but you should be leaving that house, and as you're walking to your vehicle, hitting send on that application. You should have internet service on your iPad if you're in the field. If you're at home, obviously, and you're selling over the phone connected to your computer, you're hitting send, okay? But sometimes you're in bad areas. Sometimes even at your own home. I know at my house, we've got the latest and the greatest, but it can still be spotty sometimes, and you hit send on an application, and you go back 2 hours later and check, and it's still sitting and under construction, and it didn't go nowhere, okay? It's still up there. It doesn't have a sent signal. It's not saying it's been successfully sent. All right, that can happen with technology, and it happens to me quite a bit, okay? The time that I've been out in the field here, the past 6, 7, 8 months, I'll come home, think something sent. It'll tell me it did send, and I get home and it didn't, and I need to resend it, okay? You don't want to go all night, wake up the next morning, and it didn't go through. That's delaying your time, okay, of getting it issued. You want it to go through, get issued as soon as possible, draft as soon as possible, so that you can get paid on your business. The goal is always to go from submission to commission as quickly and efficiently as possible. Let's be honest. We want to get paid. And not only do we want to get paid, we want that to hurry up and get issued, so they'll mail that policy and then get that legacy plan going behind it to that client. A lot of times when clientele sit there and I've seen people, something get hung up in their app 3 or 4 days, and every day that goes longer before that client gets a legal contract of insurance is causing for them, especially with elderly people that are retired and got a lot of time to think, to sit there and wring their hands and worry. And you don't want them to, call them, and I've called clients before and something took too long, and, well, we got worried it was a scam. We didn't get a policy in the mail. Then you guys know, Miss Jones, it's not a scam. I'm going to make sure this policy gets to you. Listen, you have to deal with some things like that. We have to deal with some aggravation. But that's why we make the kind of money that we make, okay? So make sure your business is going through, that it's being submitted as quickly as possible, okay? And don't create reason for your client to sit there and wonder where a contract's at, what's going on, all right? And that's just common sense. Customer service, all right? This is a huge one, all right? So many times, producers are great at making the sale, but they suck at continuing to be accessible to their client in the customer service arena. Now, there's not a lot to do after we make a sale, okay? This is a low-touch insurance product. You're not selling Medicare supplements or health insurance where people's having issues when they go to the hospital, them not taking payment or something changing and them calling you. Again, we love the simplicity of what we do, okay? However, you know, if you're not returning telephone calls when they do call or when they have a question or when they maybe talk to their son or daughter and their son or daughter calls and wants to know, what did you put mama in, okay? Something as simple as their draft date is set up for the 5th, but their bank, a lot of banks, it doesn't show it actually coming out until 48 hours later, and they call you and say, it hadn't come out, y'all hadn't took my money. You need to answer that phone and say, no, Miss Jones, a lot of banks, it just takes longer to show up. You need to be there and accessible to put them at ease. I'm not telling you when you're out in the field to take every single phone call while you're sitting in a house or putting somebody on hold while you're making a sales call, okay? Don't take me where I'm not going, all right? You either run the day or the day runs you. You run your business or your business runs you. Never forget that. But you need to have allotted times that you're returning those telephone calls, okay? And that you're handling what you need to do, all right, as far as retention, all right? So, retention is an issue there. We'll talk about that a little bit more in just a second. And then also, just make sure you're accessible. Answer your phone, okay? Here's some common things that I've seen producers that they just slack in that causes an issue. And it may seem small, but never forget the small foxes spoil the vine. Answer your phone like we just talked about. Have your voice on your voicemail. So when you call, it's not some robotic something and they're wondering who you even are, or my God, did this person, are they even legit that sold me this? No, say, hey, this is Justin Young with Senior Life Insurance. Please give me a call back. Sorry I can't take your call right now, or not please give me a call back, but just sorry I can't take your call right now. I'll return your call as soon as possible. Just something personable, okay, with your voice on your voicemail, all right? Here's a huge one, drives me nuts, okay? And anybody, if I don't know you, I'm going to send you a text if I call you and can't leave you a voice message because your mailbox is full, all right? Even on my recruiting calls, I let people know. It's just tacky. You show me a person that don't keep their voicemail box clean out, and I'll show you a person that probably don't clean their car and their house is a wreck too, and they hadn't mowed their yards in 4 weeks, okay? So that's a bad habit. Keep your voicemail box clear so that people can communicate and leave you a message when they call. All right, so clear that out. Always return calls within the same day. Make that your policy if there's any way possible. Definitely within 24 hours. And check your emails and your texts regularly, okay, as you have moments between sales, because you need to strike while the iron's hot. If you're getting a cancellation, okay, or you get an email that a person's bank draft didn't go through, you have to be willing as a producer to pick up the phone, make the call, and say, hey, Miss Jones, your draft didn't go through. Most times they don't even know it. Sometimes you may have to get a little involved. Now, if they're just giving you the stiff arm and they really don't want the product, you need to hurry up and get off the phone and move on, all right? Cut your losses, because while you're trying to convince somebody to keep a policy, you're missing 3 other sales making you $1,500, okay? Don't be that person. Use discernment. Be wise. If you can tell somebody's saying one thing but really don't want the policy and they're just dragging you out, don't waste your time on that, okay? I used to get way too involved in trying to make sure I saved business, all right? I'm not that way no more. Again, Ron Powell goes as far as to, and he says if they cancel, I always factored in that there was going to be some canceled. I never even called them back one time. Now, I'll tell you personally, I'm going to call once. I'm going to get them on the phone once. If I can't get them on the phone, I'll make 2 or 3 attempts that week to get them on the phone. Past 3 calls, if you're not taking my call and not returning my voicemails, you're dead to me, okay? That's where I'm at with it. I'm going to move on. So I'll make a few attempts. Once I get you on the phone, I'm only going to talk to you once about it, and we're either going to get it put back on then or we're not, okay? I used to spend probably closer to 25% of my time on defense as opposed to, today on defense, okay, which is more like working on your business and business conservation and calling people, trying to run things down, all right, on existing business. I literally this is exaggerative. I spend maybe a couple hours total a week on that, okay? And I say as a policy, as a producer, daily, you should be spending, all right, the lion's share. And by the lion's share, I mean you should be spending about 5.5%, not 0.5, but 5% of your day, approximately 1.2 hours, Okay, 1.2 hours of your day collectively should be handled in calling people back if it takes that much. Okay, and trying to conserve business or trying to call and return voicemails to answer a question. The lion's share of your day, all right, 95% of your day, all right, should be sitting there and worried about producing, throwing the business on. So I'm not telling you not to be worried to only be an offense person, but I'm telling you offense is king. You'll learn that in this business. Don't waste too much time running down ridiculous mess and people that are uncooperative, okay, that don't actually want the coverage, that are tire kicking you, okay? So, again, less than 1.2 hours of your day, just trust me, put this in practice, should be spent on running a bunch of issues down and returning voicemails and that type of thing, okay? Sometimes you just got to let the hair go with the hide. If a person, you just can't get them on, they called you, but you can't get them back on the phone, don't worry about it, move on, okay? Go produce. I promise it'll make up for anything that you might lose on the back end if you're aggressive on offense, okay? So a little bit on defense, a whole lot on offense. So, check those emails, stay on top of it, strike while iron's hot. It's easier to save the business when you first, get the notification because it's fresh on their mind. Don't let it get cold. However, don't spend too much time there, okay? I hope that makes sense to you. I hope that communicates. But just contact the clients in a timely manner and do what you say you're going to do. Always overpromise and overdeliver. Overpromise and overdeliver. Be a person of integrity. Do what you tell the clients you're going to do. Be thorough. And communication is key. Just be there. Keep the lines open and communicate when your client needs to communicate. It won't be that much, but when it is, be accessible, okay? But also, know when enough's enough. Probably not a whole lot of times, less than a dozen times, but I have fired some clients. You need to know when to fire a client. Now, I'm not saying you're going to call in and cancel their insurance, but I've literally told on 2 different occasions, I told a client, I said, you're fired. Don't ever call me again. I don't care. Keep the insurance, don't keep the insurance, but don't bother me no more, because how many knows there's some crazy people out there, okay? Just absolutely yonkers, nuts. I've had, and on rare occasions, you run across a nutcase, all right? And they just burn your phone down all the time. They're not logical. You can't explain anything to them. There's a story in the Bible that I always refer to called they're children's of the stealers. They're stealers of the children's bread, okay? All right, they're sitting there robbing your household and your family of production and what you could be producing for your own family because you're missing 3 or 4 sales while you always nursing this one person over here who is committed to misunderstanding you, okay? So just listen. No, that's very real, and that's uncommon. You're not going to hear that, but you need to know when to fire a client, too. Everybody, crazy people shouldn't have access to you, okay? And occasionally you're going to run across some. That's just life and living. I'm sure in whatever you currently do, you've already come across that. Getting to the end here, back office organization, while getting out in the field, it makes up the majority of what we do, okay? Again, in that 1.2 hours of the day that I just talked about, you need to be able to know how to get on the agent portal, log on to the portal, get any updates that's going on, know what's going on with Senior Life. There may be something personal there that you need to check on, know how to use the tools and resources. Beyond the Slice app, you need to be familiar with the agent portal, okay? So I've kind of covered a lot. I've hit it kind of broad brushstroke, but I think you get the picture. Make the attempt to save your business, okay? Just don't spend too much time on it. Don't let it dominate your life, especially if you're a good producer and you're writing a business, you're writing several cases a day. Listen, people, some of it's going to fall off. You'll hear sometimes in the final expense training that approximately 30% of it should fall off. I've never believed that. Your placement persistency, your persistency should never be under 70%, and you don't want it to be because your contract will get canceled. Okay, you don't want to be writing a bunch of business and it not staying on. That's considered, a lack of production or a lack of quality of business. The insurance carrier, Senior Life, will not tolerate it. Okay, so the business needs to stay on. You need to have a higher than 70% persistency and placement rating. It needs to be staying on the books. Okay, but I've always said if you make it at least an attempt to conserve your business, you'll save approximately half of it. I saved a case the other day. A woman just had misunderstood something real simple. I called her. She's like, "Oh my goodness, Justin, I'm sorry. I should have called you first. Can we please call Senior Life right now and put it back on? Yes, ma'am, and we did. Okay? And so that don't happen every time, but it happens about 50% of the time. Make the effort. If you do that, you won't have 30% fall off. At most, you'll lose approximately 15% of your business. Listen, you got to go out there and slay the giants, but there's going to be some casualties of war, okay? You're not going to keep every client. Go ahead and get your mind right. I used to obsess about it. I still don't like losing a client, but it does not keep me up at night like it used to. Some of that will just come with time. Listen, I hope you found this helpful. It's went a little longer, okay? I'm a long-winded preacher, I guess. It's went a little longer than I wanted it to, but I think it's communicated to you. I believe it's been effective. As always, if you have any questions, any needs, you're personally accessible to myself, John, my wife, Brandy, any of us. We want to help you succeed. Reach out to us today. Thank you.